separate tuning instructional video for you if your child plays the string bass. Now, the bass, in many different ways, is a totally different animal from the rest of the instruments in the orchestra, and tuning is no exception to that. So the way that we tune the bass is using these gear peg tuners. It's different from on the cello, the viola, or the violin, where the pegs are actually wooden, and they go into an opening on the side of the peg box. Instead, on the bass, we have these gears. It's very similar to the tuning mechanism on a guitar, if that's something you're at all familiar with. And then we don't have fine tuners on the bass like we do on the violin, viola, or the cello. So really all you're going to be dealing with is the gears up here. So first we have to familiarize ourselves with which one goes with which string. So if I'm looking directly at the bass from the front of the instrument, the gear that is here on the bottom right goes to G. So that's our G, and then the one on the top goes to D. And then on the other side, looking at the gear that's on the top, that is A. And then the one on the bottom is the E. If I'm wanting to turn my peg to adjust G down, I'm going to turn the gear physically down towards the floor or clockwise to lower. So you can hear how the pitch is going down. And then you're going to turn it counterclockwise or up to raise it. And you can actually feel, as you're turning the peg, the resistance as you're raising. You can feel the difference with that gear peg when it's loosening and tightening. So I think you'll be able to tell, aside from just listening, which way you're going. So then same thing with the D. If I want to lower it, I'm going to turn down towards the floor. I'm trying to get angled here where you can see. You can see how I'm turning down or clockwise. And then if I want to raise, I'm going to turn it up or counterclockwise. So that's the same process for each of our strings. Okay, if I'm wanting to lower my A string, I'm going to turn down or clockwise to lower it. And if I'm wanting to raise it, I'm going to turn counterclockwise or to the left to raise the pitch. So common terms for when we need to raise or lower our pitch: if the note is too low, we call that flat. And if the note is too high, we call that sharp. That's important because on a lot of tuners, the note will actually register flat, and there will be a red light with a flat symbol that shows up if the note is too low. And likewise, it will say sharp with a sharp symbol and a red light if it's too high or too sharp. So if it's too high or too sharp, we have to bring the pitch down. And if it's too low or flat, we have to bring the pitch up. Hi there, this is the second part of our bass tuning tutorial, and you can see that I have pulled up on my screen an online tuning program called Tuner Ninja. You can find this at tuner.ninja, and what this does is it basically turns your computer screen into an electronic or chromatic tuner. When I say chromatic, I mean that it just shows all of the notes that it's possible to play on the instrument, including flats, sharps, and naturals. So right now you can see that the dial on my Tuner Ninja is spinning around frantically because it is picking up the sound of my voice, and it's registering all those different pitches that my voice is making right now. And so when we play on the instrument, it's going to be a little bit more stable, hopefully, and it's going to register the note that you're playing. And what we're trying to do is to get that little indicator or arrow that's there in the center of the dial to light up green and to land right on the name of the string that you are tuning. So you can see I'm trying to tune my G here, and at the moment, it's not quite there. It's not lighting up green. And it's also registering just a little bit to the right of the note name G. That means if it's too far to the right, that means that it is sharp or too high, and we need to bring the pitch down a little bit. So if you think back to the last part of our tutorial, whenever it's sharp and we need to bring the pitch down, we are going to lower that gear peg down toward the floor to lower the string's pitch. And I went a little too far. Okay, so you can see it's kind of wavering a little bit, but it's still lighting up green. It's staying mostly right on the mark for that G. So we're good. If your child is proficient with using their bow, meaning they can keep the bow straight and parallel between the fingerboard and the bridge and produce a steady, even tone, it would be helpful to have them to bow on their bass while you adjust their tuner. So we're going to do that and demonstrate that with the D string. So right now you can see it's a bit too low. It's registering between a C sharp and a D. So I need to raise the pitch. I'm going to do that by turning the gear tuner counterclockwise or up. And we got it. Thank you for taking the time to watch this tutorial. Please feel free to reach out to your child's orchestra teacher at any time if you have any questions or concerns.